Hey, Shalom. Welcome back. Here we are again with our directed immersion in the original Hebrew of the prophets study. We will be continuing tonight in 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 11, where we left off last time. So I left my annotations that were up here from last time. And as always, if you'd like to support the work we do here, please consider sending either a one-time payment over to paypal.me, that's me, /Hebrew Literacy, or if you'd like to sign up for monthly donations, it's easier to do over at patreon.com/Hebrew Literacy, or you can just sign up there for free to follow what we do. I'm trying to become more and more active over on Patreon. You can also do the monthly thing here, and you'll still get all the benefits from Patreon, but I need to send you a custom button. So we are struggling always, so we really appreciate any gift that you might have, or if you decide to increase your gift, that's much appreciated. All right, so let's get started. Maybe we'll have a real quick opening prayer. Okay, so I'm thinking, it just came to mind, let's do Psalm 12. And this is the book I'm reading from. This is the Art Scroll Tehillim, really nice. And it's got, on one side, you have the Hebrew Tehillim with a little kind of introduction. And on the other side, you have an English translation, right? And there's some comments on the bottom. So let's go ahead and we will pray that as our kind of opening prayer tonight. So I won't be spending as much time in it as if it was Psalms night. It says, Lamnatseach al hasheminit, for the conductor upon the sheminit. We're not really sure what that is. It has like an 8 as the root, but maybe it's saying on a certain octave or something. A mizmor le David, or the Voliv, a psalm of David. Hoshea Adonai ki gamar chasid. And it's interesting, this psalm came to mind, and just the other night, I think there was a connection to some of the words in the psalm. So we'll see. Oh yeah, here, Fasu Emonim, I was mentioning yesterday. So Hoshea, save, cause Yeshua. Oh, Yod Hey, Wow Hey. Ki gamar chasid, for the Chasids, the pious one, has ceased or reduced. Ki fasu emonim, for the faithful ones have pasas. Pasas is to disappear. They have disappeared. Mi b'nei Adam, from human beings, literally the sons of Adam. Shav yedaberu ish et ra'ehu. In vain, for no reason, do they speak? And you'll notice here, there's actually a Rafi. I read it like the normal biblical Hebrew, but over time, the pronunciation came to just say yedabru instead of yedaberu. That's fine. They speak, ish et ra'ehu, a man against his fellow. Sifat chalakot, with safa, with lips of chalakot, of smoothness, like buttery lips, pernicious lips. Belev valev yedaberu, with heart and heart do they speak. So this means double-mindedness. A heart and a heart is a poetic way to say double-mindedness, since the heart was considered the seat of thoughts in the ancient world. Yachait Adonai kol siftei chalakot. With just a force, may Adonai cut off all pernicious lips. Lashon medaberet gedolot, a tongue speaking distortions. Asher amru, or if we follow the Rafe, amru, who, or with which, probably with accusative of means here, with which they say, L'shonenu nagbir sifatenu itanu mi'adon lanu. So here's our quote, what they're saying. With our tongues, we have become mighty. With our lips, as our weapons. Who is the Lord of us? Mishor aniyim meinkat evyonim, oppressing the poor from the outcry, the Aknakta, the Anka becomes Enkat of Evyonim, of the needy. Ata Akum Yomar Hashem. Now I will arise, says Hashem. Ashit beyesha yafiach lo. I will set with victory or salvation, judgment against him, or a witness, more like a witness against him. Imrot Adonai amarot tehorot. The promises of Adonai are utterances, are pure utterances. Kesef tzaruf, silver refined, ba'alil, in a crucible, la'aretz, of the earth. Mezukak shivatayim, refined 14 times. Ata Adonai tishmarim, may you, O Adonai, yourself protect them. Titzarenu min hador zu le'olam. May you safeguard them or rescue them from this generation forever. Saviv rasha'im yithalechun kerum zulut livnei Adam. Saviv, for around, are resha'im, evil ones. Yithalechun, they walk to and fro, noon, exceedingly so. Kerum, as up high or with haughtiness, zulut, of vileness, livnei, towards the bnei Adam. So I think this is about spirits, like against human beings or against the children of man. Okay, so there's our opening prayer. Let's get now to our tab. All right. Here we are. I hope the audio's okay. Please let me know in the comments below. Using my backup microphone with some adjustments and such, so hopefully it will be all right. Okay. Verse 11. Oops. Okay. Here we are, verse 11. Ve'ata, so now, Avi, that's my father, the father of me. Okay, sorry, I had a little bit of issue there. Okay, Avi, the yod is my Abba, right? So my Av. Ve'ata Avi, now, and now, my Av, my father, Ha'mis Alechem, he caused labor, Alechem, upon you all. That's a yoke. What kind of yoke? Kaved, a heavy yoke. So of course we have, here's our noun, and here is our adjective. So an ol, what kind of ol? Kaved, a heavy one. Va'ani, but I, osif. So this is from the verb yasaf. Yod, samech, pei, and the yod is presenting as a vav here in this form. So the aleph, that aleph reminds us of the aleph from ani, right? From I. So this guy does the function of this guy actually, right? So that means we have some redundancy. Since there's a redundancy, that means there's extra oomph, extra emphasis. So, but I indeed will add And that yod, by the way, remember, if you have 3 root letters and you put a yod in there, that yod is giving you the causative form of the verb. So I will cause to be added al, upon, lechem. So that's actually just but it changes like this when it goes to the construct. So putting chem on the end. Chem is your, talking to a plural group, not just one person, right? That would be cha. This is ech if it's a girl, but this is chem when it's talking to a mixed group or all men. Al, upon, or lechem, your yoke. Avi, my father. My father. Yeah, probably would have had an Aknakta here if we're looking at the actual biblical text with the traditions. That would have an Aknakta probably. I just looked it up real quickly, and I will show you. It is indeed. Let's see, this is my old Tanakh. It's a Koran edition, but it doesn't have the nice little special markers. Let's see. Verse 11. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, there's an Aknakta there. See? So that totally makes sense. Just like I predicted, because it feels like it should be a stop there. In case you're wondering, this is an old Koran Bible. This survived for quite some time. Oh, I wanted to show you the title page, but it looks like the title page somehow was removed. Yeah, it's seen some times. All right, back to our graphic novel. By the way, if you want to get this graphic novel, you can do so by buying it directly from the publisher, and there'll be a link to their name down below. It's Glossa House. So you can just go to glossahouse.com and get it from them if you like. Okay. So, as I suspected, al lechem, upon, and I will add to your yoke. I'll add upon your yoke. Okay. I will indeed, the ani there, that's extra emphasis because we didn't need it, right? So va'ani osif, and I indeed will add. Here we probably wouldn't say. He could be saying I myself, like he'll be overseeing to make sure their yoke is heavier. Will add al, upon lechem, your yoke. Pause. That's why I was expecting it nafta. I really wish they included the ta'amim here, but that's fine. And then continue. He's going to say some more stuff now. Avi, my father, Yisar. Okay, this is the PL from Yisar. If it's just Yisar, where we get the word Musar from, Yod Samech Reish, that means like to teach or to instruct. But when it's got the PL with that intensive second root letter, like we have here, it's gone. Oops, sorry. Zoom the wrong way. And that one, again, there we go. That one shows it's the PL. I kind of covered the dot up there, but there is a dot, trust me. Yeah, I'll do a bit better. Okay, so here we go. That one there. When you have a strong dagesh in the second root letter, this is an indication of the PL, the intensive, sometimes causative. So if Yasar is to teach, Yisar is to correct, right? It's a bit stronger, like even to chastise, right? So my father, Yisar, chastised. And by the way, the usual order that we have, usually our order is, if you look up top, I'll show you. When we're reading along right to left, our usual order is verb, followed by subject. And every once in a while, you'll get like a rogue object will sneak in there. Okay, especially if it's a short one or indirect object. But if you change the order and the subject comes in front of the verb, right? So we have subject and then verb, then that usually shows some kind of emphasis. And look what we have here. Here we have Avi, this is the subject, right? And then the verb is Yisar. That's our verb. So the order is reversed. So this is another way to indicate emphasis. Just like the sentence, the verse started with Va'ani, but I, myself, or I indeed will osif. There's two I's, but I, or and I, but I will add al ulechem, upon your yoke. And now we're getting more special emphasis. He's going to distinguish himself more from his father. So instead of saying Yisar Avi, the way we would have expected, and that's kind of also what made me pause before, my father, like, so he's saying my father as opposed to me. You understand? He starts with a strong Va'ani, but I, and now my father, Yisar, chastised etchem. That's you all. Right, with our chem at the end. So that's the DDO plus chem. Not so great. I wish I could draw on it while it zoomed. That would be so convenient. All right, so let's make sure everybody can see that all right. Yes, you can see. Now, my father had mace loaded up alechem upon you all, ol kaved, a yoke, a heavy one. Va'ani, but I, Osif, shall indeed add al upon lechem, y'all's yoke. Avi, my father, emphasis, Yisar chastised etchem, you all. Bashutim. So here the bait is actually showing us what he chastised with. What did he chastise with? With shotim, with whips. With whips, like you're going to whip somebody, right? So the bait, we're not going to say in the whips, but with the whips. Va'ani, but I, again, we don't need this I because there's an I here in the Aleph. I will, I yaser. And here again, look, his father Yisar he chastised, but I will chastise. I indeed, or I myself will chastise etchem you all ba'akravim, pardon, ba'akravim, with the scorpions. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So let me mark up some of those guys. Another DDO with affix chem, you all. And we have, maybe oh, it's when it's small I can show myself, right? I think that's fine. There we go. Okay. And then we have here inseparable preposition. So kind of an and box around those. With the, literally is what it's saying, even though we don't really want to translate that way into English, right? And then over here, with the, and you'll notice there's a slight spelling difference. Here, we have a dagesh, right? From the ha, left its footprint. That's telling us it's the. Right? But over here, no dagesh, right? Because I cannot take a dagesh. So instead, it comes down, and we get a lengthened vowel. See? So instead of having patach, like we have here, this is considered a short vowel. We have kamatz, which is considered a long vowel. That's compensatory lengthening because the dagesh could not go into the ayin. So he came down here instead and joined the patach, and they grew into one big happy family. Oh, you can't see that, can you? Okay, let's see. Let's do a little zoom. Okay, you should be able to see a bit better now. See over here, we have patach because the definite article ha, well, hal in ancient Hebrew, which meant the, became ha, and the lamed assimilates to a dot there, a strong dagesh, making that letter double. Here we just the short ah. Okay? But over here, this is where it would be nice if we were reading an Ashkenazi Hebrew. This would be an O, so at least it's a different sound, right? You can tell what's happening. But Sephardi Hebrew, Sephardic, it's still an ah, but it's a longer ah. In ancient times, this was a longer ah, right? Maybe like an ah, even though we don't pronounce it that way anymore, because the ayin cannot take a dagesh. Aleph, ayin, hey, chait, and reish all cannot take a dagesh. So you will have this little thing happening here that we call compensatory lengthening. Okay. And we're back. With the akrabim, the scorpions. Okay. Continuing on. Vayavo Yerovam. So the verb is bo, beit, vav, aleph, and the yod is actually telling us that that is a he, right? So, yeah. Oops, sorry, no, that come on, wanted this one. Hold on. Yantar is Amber. So that's telling us he. Okay. You might know from the famous Mashiach song, Ve'yavo, 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 and he will come, or he is coming. Okay. Mashiach, Mashiach, Mashiach. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. So anyway, Yavo in biblical Hebrew, they're singing in rabbinical there, but Yavo in biblical Hebrew means he is coming, like he is arriving, or he will arrive. That is an imperfect. But now, because of our Vav, this is the Vav conversive, he's going to change the aspect, right? And that's going to make it, the whole thing perfect, which is kind of like, oftentimes it's like past in English. It's a perfect aspect now. So, and he came, or and he arrived. Who's the he? Yerovam. Right? So again, we have our typical verb, and then here's our subject, right? Okay. As we expect, no special emphasis. It's not saying Yerovam came. It's saying, and Yerovam came or went. Okay. Arrived. Vechol ha'am. And all of the all of the people. Again, same thing here is happening. Just a little quick review on this. The definite article is hal in ancient Hebrew. Many people don't learn this, but it was hal. You could say like this. Okay? Hal. Okay? And when it attaches to a word, we keep the ha there. So we'll say we're going to try to put it, let's say we're adding it to a word that starts with a mem. Okay? Like melech. Okay? So we'll put the, he says melech. Fine. So if you can't read all those letters. The most important ones are these. Maybe make those so it doesn't bother some people. Melech. That's this guy, right? This guy is the king. Okay. And we want to say the king. So what happened was Hal Melech is how you said it in ancient Hebrew. Hal Melech. My arm keeps going off screen and it's bugging me. Hal Melech. But that Lamed over time assimilated. And what he does is he goes inside of the mem. So see they're the same color? This one is going inside there. Okay. So Hal Melech became Ham Melech. And I'm giving you guys an example of how this happens in English also. Like you can have the English word. From Latin, we have in, meaning not. Look over on the left here. I'm going to write in, meaning not. And then you might have some other word, legal. Legal. Here, I'll make it exactly like this one. If we're going to do it this way, let's be consistent. Legal. Okay, there we go. And so, not legal was illegal, just like Hal Melech was the king. Okay, but people don't really like to say that sandwiched in. So instead, that in is going to assimilate the n. The n is going to assimilate into the l there. So if we actually could do things using a dagesh, well, I'll just show first. The n he copied the l, right? He assimilates. He becomes the l. So illegal becomes illegal. Two l's. And so if we used Hebrew notation, the Hebrew scribes did not like to write the same letter twice. So instead they would just write it once. And later the Masoretes represented this by putting the strong dagesh, the strong dot, the dagesh forte in there. So if we were going to write it like that, then the way that would be done in English, we'd have our I, and then we'd have, instead of two L's, we'd have one L, and then we would have a dot in there, right? That's what the N became the strong dagesh. See how that happens? So we would write legal if we combined Hebrew and English. Right? That's how we do it. Illegal. Is it? So the same thing happens. Hal Melech became Ham Melech, right? With the mem having the teal dot, the cyan dot in the middle of it. But what happens when that mem can't take a dagesh? That dot gets rejected. All right, so let me show you here. Think of it like this. So for ha'am, ayin cannot take. You cannot take a dagesh. And that'll be our purple letter. That's kind of like this guy here, like the mem. And then look, it's the first letter of the word, right? Isn't it? Okay. So here our word is am. Make him same color, so you can kind of continue with our color coding. For you visual learners, this could help. This is the rest of the word we did in white for melech and for legal. See what's happening here? Okay. Okay. Am was our word. Then we wanted to say the people. So we have our red hal. And then the teal or the cyan lamed, this guy, he's going to try to go in like he did up here, right? He's going to try to go into the like he did the mem, right? Doubling the mem. It's going to try to do that in the ayin. Okay. But ayin cannot take a dagesh. You can't double an ayin. I guess in ancient times, nobody would ever go. I mean, ayin is already such a strong consonant. So someone's going to go like. the, the, the example I like to give of this is imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's in that movie from the 80s. Is it 80s or 90s? Where he goes to Mars. He's on Mars. Anyway, he gets outside of the dome and there's no air, and his eyes are bulbous, and he's going, and the lady also, and it's like claymation, the tongue's flopping around and stuff. So that's what the double ayin would sound like. Nobody would talk that way. So since ayin can't be doubled, something has to double to show us where the n in illegal went. Here we get two L's, illegal, no problem. For melech, we get two mems, ham melech, right? That's what the dot's telling us. But the ayin can't take a dot. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen is instead of having our patach, which is considered a short vowel, he's going to lengthen into a kamatz. So the dagesh that never was is going to come down here, and he's going to be this part of it. So imagine like you still have your patach, right? But he has a little extra section there. Can you see it? So he's instead of going in the eye, and you can think of it as he bounced out. He tried to go in, right? The hal, the lamed, right? This part. The lamed from the king, he tried to go into the ayin, rejected. And so instead of having just a little short he comes down here, and then boom, that's the little teal part. See, it's the same color as the lamed. He comes down and he lengthens that vowel marker to make it a full-on kamatz. You know, again, if it was Ashkenazi Hebrew, you'd hear a change. Instead of ha, it'd be ho, ho, ho. Actually, they don't do the ayin, so ho om. Okay. Great. Okay, let's finish up the verse. V'chol ha'am, and all of the people, el rechavam, unto rechavam, bayom, in the day, ha'shalishi, in the third day. So the vayavo, the and he came, it's also including them, right? And all the people came. Kaasher means according to how, diber, spoke, and again we're going to have verb followed by subject, one doing verb. So according to how, literally, he spoke, who? The king, Hamelech. So according to how the king spoke, Lemo, saying. Shuvu. So that's from shuv, not yashav, it's shuv. Shin vav beit means to return. This is where we get the word teshuvah from, meaning repentance, like it's a returning. Extra bugging me a little bit. So shuvu Eli, unto I, unto me. See how useful is knowing the suffixes? That's unto me. Bayom. So here we know the bait. Oops, that's not what I wanted. In or on. We have the footprint left from the ha. On the, and then our word is just yom. On the day. Which one? Ha, the, shelishi, the third, on the third day. So in Hebrew, the days of the week are day 1 is Sunday, day 2 is Monday, day 3 is Wednesday. But he could also be speaking relatively, like come back to me in 3 days. And oh, look here, he's showing the number 3 to make sure we got it. All right, any comments or questions? Maybe I'll mark our, while you're thinking of questions, I will mark our definite article all over the place. There's some consistency. If you're just listening to the podcast, you might want to consider looking when you get home. So you can see the notes. I think they're useful. Okay, right now you should be typing your question, comments or whatever, and I should be dealing with them in chat if I'm there with you. If not, you can also be helping each other, but I think I'll be there with you. Okay, I think we have all the articles there. And our vowels all separated. And our inseparable prepositions. Yeah, oh, this one. Now, kasher is just one of these words that you just don't learn, even though it's an inseparable preposition combined with asher, the relative pronoun. It almost always means according to how, and it's going to be followed with a verb. Kasher diber, according to how spoke. Kasher, whatever, according to how someone amar, according to how they diber, according to how they mitzaveh, they give a commandment, according to how, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Any comments or questions? Okay, I think this is a good place to stop. We've got a solid 38 minutes in. I hope you guys enjoyed, especially the new colors that we were able to get programmatically. A lot of these colors, you can't choose them from the color palette in PowerPaint. They got to be obtained through program. So it's kind of cool. And again, I'm really grateful to the one who donated the uh, the the device that I'm using now that helps streaming. I had a little bit of issues with it before. I don't know what happened, but it seems like everything's working now. Please let me know if the audio was okay. I continued to make tweaks to our backup microphone. And please, if you find these things useful, if you're giving, maybe consider the amount of instruction you get. Maybe upping the gift if you could a little bit. I feel kind of terrible to ask about it, but we do have needs over here, and we're not like flying around having vacations or something like that. I can't even remember going anywhere on vacation for many years. So really, again, not saying that we want to, but would like to be able to survive normally with the family. So if you guys feel like you've benefited from this, please consider becoming a patron or upping your tier level over on Patreon. Or if you could give a one-time gift over at paypal.me/ShuvuLiteracy, I really would appreciate it. May Hashem bless you with all your studies. May you have a great rest of the day or evening, whatever the case may be. And I look forward to continue with you guys for our Tehillim lesson tomorrow. Shalom, shalom.